So far, we have designed the pipeline architecture and built a realistic Postgres source. Before we ingest any data, we need a proper data warehouse setup. In this video, we will set up Snowflake the way it's done in real companies, not just clicking buttons and hoping it works. So we are using Snowflake because it's widely used in modern data teams. It separates compute and storage, scales well, and works perfectly with tools like Meltano and DBT. Of course, you can use the warehouse of your choice, but for this for this tutorial, I'm going to use the Snowflake. So let's go to signup.snowflake.com. Click on this link. So they give 30 days free trial. Start signing in. First name, you can give any name that you want. While you're signing up, I'm a student. Select the no, select the correct option you want to use. Training or certification, personal learning and development. Continue. Company name. I don't think it's required, but I will just putting no NA for now. Choose your Snowflake edition. Enterprise. There are three editions, right? A standard, enterprise, and business critical. A standard is cheapest one, like the costing of this one is cheapest. Then we have enterprise, and then the business critical. So costing of all these three keeps on increasing tier by tier. So right now let's just select standard because we are not going to go deep into Snowflake, right? So use cloud provider. For now, I'm just using AWS. Let's select the region closest. Select the closest region to you, right? For me, it's Asia Pacific, so I'm selecting this one. Let's click on average. Get started. I'm going to use Python SQL, right? Continue. I think we can just skip it, right? Now they're asking to open. Go to your email id. Go to your email id. Let me just open my email id on the another window. So they have given you a startup email, right? You just need to create, and let me copy the link here, paste it here. They give me a link. So they're asking to create username and password name. Username, let's create data underscore in. I don't think we can do data engineer, something that one, right? And then password, you can choose password of your choice. For example, let me zoom this page for you. It's very small. Let's click on get started. Before creating databases or tables, we need to understand roles. Snowflake is very strict about access control, and that's a very good thing. So we have few, let me give you an overview of few roles that I have that you should be knowing about. So we have account admin, it has full control, right? It has full control. Then we have sysadmin, it can manage objects. Objects is anything like tables, views, databases, a schema, we call it objects. Then we have user admin, the as by name you can understand it, right? So these can manage users. Then we have security admin, right? So this security admin manages grants, right? So in production, ingestion tools never runs as account admin, right? You are not going to give full access to the ingestion tools, right? So let's start by creating warehouses. Okay, so I'm going to create new SQL file here. Let's close this pop-up first. I'm going to create SQL file. Let's name is as prep, right? I'm just prepping right now. So I'm going to use role sysadmin. Why? Because sysadmin is used to manage objects, right? So I'm going to use role sysadmin. This will switch my role to sysadmin right now. Then I'm going to create warehouse, ingest warehouse. I'm keeping the size as extra small. It has multiple sizes, right? Extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, 2x large, 3x large, right? With the auto suspend time of 60 seconds, right? If you are not using your warehouse for more than 60 seconds, it will be turned off, right? And auto resume also has true, right? When the warehouse is down or suspended, where the warehouse is suspended, ignore the dog's voice, guys. So when the warehouse is suspended and you run some query, it will be the warehouse will be automatically resumed, right? So let's run this query, right? So you can see, right? Now we have a new warehouse in JSWH. So warehouses are compute, right? Not storage. The processing power, right? We are creating a very small warehouse just for ingestions. And also remember, auto suspend is critical, right? Otherwise, you will burn your money without doing anything, right? You because Snowflake charges per second, right? Per second, your warehouse is on, for the time the warehouse is on, right? So if your warehouse is on for a long time, you are burning money without doing anything. Separating workhouses by workloads is best practices, right? You should be creating multiple warehouses per warehouse, right? For example, I have created ingest warehouse. You can create transform warehouse where you will be doing some transformations, right? With different options, right? Or different sizes. It depends on the workload that you're doing, right? Let's now create a database. So I'm just getting raw DB because this will be where my raw data is going to be ingested from Meltano. And let's get analytics DB where we will be doing some analytics here, right? So raw DB will store raw unmodified data from sources. Analytics DB will store transformed business ready data. Never mix raw data and analytics data, right? You should be not putting raw data directly into analytics data DB and vice versa, right? Now let's create schemas, right? So you can think as database as a folder, right? And schema as a subfolder, right? So I'm just creating a schema as Postgres because my source is Postgres for now, right? And Google Sheet schema will be used to ingest data from Google Sheets. So schema helps us separate data by sources, right? This makes debugging, lineage, and ownership much easier and cleaner. Now let's go and create some roles, right? I'm using security admin. Remember when I shown you here, I told that security admin manages the roles, right? Users and roles, right? Let's use this role and create role ingest role. So I will be this role will be used by Miltano. It will only have a permission. Well, it will only have the permission it needs, nothing more, right? Now let's grant permissions, right? Don't worry, I will be sharing these SQLs to you on as a GitHub repo link. Don't worry about that. Just focus on concepts right now. Do not start to copy. So what I'm doing here, grant usage on warehouse ingest to ingest role, right? I created ingest role. Now I'm granting ingest role to uses to access to use this particular ingest warehouse role warehouse, right? This one created, right? Now I'm also granting uses on raw DB because I will be using this raw DB to ingest data, and then on a schema, and then to the Postgres and Google Data schema, right? Notice what we are granting. We are not dropping any permissions, no access to the, right now we are not granting any access to the analytics database to the ingest role, right? No admin right, admin's right has been granted right now. So also let's grant I think there's some error here. I need to might need to see the syntax. I'm forgetting the syntax right now, but yeah. Okay, let me remove this one for now and grant insert select on all tables schema Postgres, this one, right? Let me run this one for now. And what I can do is I can also let me okay, that will be a good use case for now. Let me go to here, right? Go to the raw database, go to the Postgres, right? And Postgres schema, you will see the ingest role has access, right? I want to add few more accesses. I can do it from UI2. So let me select add privileges, create table, create, can I search it? No, I cannot search it. So where's create table? Create table is there, right? Update privilege, right? You can see, right? I can do directly from here too, right? So this is, you can do give grant access via command line or from using SQL, or you can also do it from UI, right? List privilege is not optional in data engineering, it's mandatory, right? Give as less permission as possible to get the work done. We are not going to give more access than needed, right? Now let's return back to our query here, and now we are going to create user for Meltano, right? So let me paste the SQL here. So I'm naming it create user Meltano. I'm creating with the password, right? You can obviously I'm not going to show you the password. Let me drop user, right, for now. So I will not be showing you the password at least for now, because obviously you will be able to access it. So allow me a few seconds. Okay, so I think that's all. Let me bring back the tab here. Okay, so this is not the correct password, right? The password that I had is different than the one you were getting here, right? You can put password here. The default route is ingest tool that I have created here. Default warehouse will be tagged as ingest warehouse. Must change password. I'm marking as false. But when you create a new user, put it here. Must change password, right? When user will try to log in, there will be pop up to change the password. Now I'm granting the role ingest role to user Miltano user, right? This is done. So this is the user Miltano will authenticate as, right? In production, every tool has its own user. We generally don't try to reuse the same user, right? With different tools. This gives us audit. This gives us an ability to audit, right, and give us better control, right? If we want to add few more accesses, we can do directly to that role, right? Okay, so now let's test few accesses. So I'm using the role warehouse. So it's saying me that ingest role is not assigned to the user, right? Because obviously, because I've signed as coding with the right, but if we look at, I have not assigned ingest role to my user, right? So what I'm going to do? Well, I'm going to sign out here. I'm going to click it here again. I'm going to sign as Miltano user, and then password as the one that I created, right? Let's try to log in. Skip for now. Workspaces, right? You need to switch. Don't forget to switch the switch the user to test the access, right? It's taking few time. I don't know why it's taking a lot of time. Let me refresh it. I don't know. It's taking more time, a lot of time right now. Let oh my god. Yeah, thank God. So let me create a SQL file. Oh great. Oh great. I don't have proper access to it, right? I don't have access to it. So let me see if I have access to databases. I've didn't granted access, right? I've granted accesses here. So I can use ingest role, that's for sure. I can, yep, I can use ingest role. I can use ingest warehouse for sure. I can use database as RDB, right? And the user is Miltano user. Perfect. So we have just verified the accesses, right? So I know this setup might feel like extra work, but this is exactly how Snowflake is set up in real companies. Obviously, the password, user and password, right? We don't really don't use password anymore. We go through, uh, you know, public keys, right? We go through, we authenticate now through keys, not through password. But to keep it light, I have used password right now, obviously. So now that our Snowflake is ready, we can finally start ingesting data. In the next video, we will connect Miltano to Postgres. We will start first with setting up Miltano, and then in the next videos we will start connecting Miltano to Postgres. Then we will pull data from Postgres to Miltano and then dump into Snowflake, right? And we will then perform first initial full load, right? And then we will, in the next few videos, we will again play with the data to do some incremental ingestion. Okay, so thank you. I hope you liked the video. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.